Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you guys could join me today. In the last video, we created this pumpkin bowl. I was so excited to show that to you. It is completely finished and dried. We used a papier-mâché material with like 3 ingredients from your kitchen. It's super easy and they turn out super fantastic. They just create their own little design, and you can put dried fruit in these. You know, since we're so close to fall, I'd probably lay a dish towel down or maybe some plastic wrap, and then you can, you know, put some apples or oranges or whatever, or just dried material. You can put it on your kitchen table. You can keep it on a bar, a coffee table. It's perfect, a little bowl to hold whatever it is for the fall season. Today we are going to work on this trick-or-treat Halloween bowl, since we're getting close to Halloween, and by the time you guys probably see this video, you'll probably have plenty of time to make something like this if you don't want to use like the plastic orange, you know, pumpkin bowls that you buy at, you know, one of the big chain stores. But anyway, today I wanted to see how this was going to turn out. It's got little spiders on it, so we're going to see how that paper is going to lay. Maybe it'll form on the spider, maybe it won't. But if it doesn't, I have purchased some of these little spider rings that we're going to cut and place on here and see how that turns out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Things off. This is the flour, the salt, and the water. Basic kitchen ingredients that I'm sure most pantries have. So we're going to make it the consistency of a pancake batter. With this bowl also, like we did the pumpkin bowl, we added, I'm going to go ahead and add black paint into this. We're just going to, I mean, it's entirely up to you how dark you want the bowl. If you want it super black, add more black paint. If you want it lighter, then, you know, lighter paint, make it more of a gray. Because when you do start to mix it into this paste, this flour paste, it does lighten up. Turns more of a gray color, so you may need a little bit more black. We're just going to keep stirring that until it gets well blended. Let's just add a little bit more. Ooh, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I just love mixing paint and with things. It's neat how it all comes together. I'm going to add a little bit more. I want the bowl kind of dark. I mean, it is Halloween, right? I don't know if you guys can see how that's turning out. I choose to use gloves with this one. Normally I don't use gloves, but you don't have to use gloves. I mean, the ingredients are pretty eco-friendly. It's just when you're using darker paint, sometimes it's better to just use gloves. Okay. All right, so before we get started layering, you're going to want to need some thick paper towels too. Or you can use newspaper. It's however you want to do it. If you want to use newspaper, you can do that. Construction paper, just paper. Paper towels is fine. Before we get started with all of that, of course, we're going to want to spray this down with some oil spray. And we're gonna wanna put some plastic wrap on it, which makes the papier-mâché material come off better when you begin to take the mold away, peel the mold away, which we do after it dries, about 24 to 48 hours. Always wrestling with this plastic wrap. All right, so we got the bowl covered. Just set this to the side. And we're gonna start layering, the paper onto the mold. Okay. Kind of turned out a gray color, that's pretty cool. Oh. And like I've said before in the other videos, if your paper towel tears, don't worry about it. Just lay it on there. Anyway, just layer it right on there. It's not going to make a big difference. You're going to probably want to use several pieces of paper towel or whatever you're using. I mean, it takes layers and layers and layers depending on how thick you want the bowl. I mean, in this one we want pretty thick. Okay, so you're just going to keep dipping this in here and you're just going to keep layering and layering and layering. And you don't necessarily have to make your candy bowl this color. I mean, you can make it any color you want. It's your project. You do whatever you want, whatever color you want. Make it however you want. You can put spiders on it. You can put pumpkins on it. You can do whatever you want. Just open your mind and be creative. That's what art is all about. Being creative. Just opening your mind and letting art flow out. I really just enjoy making these bowls. I've made them for many years now. They just turn out so differently. Every piece is different. Every piece is different. There's no way to duplicate it. There's just no way. Once one piece is made, there's no way to ever duplicate it. So it's completely unique in its own design. One thing about gloves too, it definitely makes it harder to maneuver around and to open up. You know what, you could probably even do like a little mummy type sculpture. Kind of reminds me of that anyway. Wrapping up. Oh. Maybe I want to retip that a little bit. just want to keep layering and layering until you feel like, you know, it's thick enough that it's not going to fall apart. And like I've mentioned in the other videos, because this is paper, you'll not want to add water to this. Once it's dried, you'll want to use dry material if you're going to put anything in it. That's why it makes a perfect candy bowl. It's, you know, individually wrapped pieces. The color of this makes it almost look like concrete. We're just going to keep layering. If you didn't get a chance to see the pumpkin bowl be created, you can always go back. I'll link it in the description below if you want to see that. And then I've also, in some other videos, done small trinket bowls, oval shaped bowls, vases. I've done a vase. And if you want, you can always go back and check those out. Kind of crazy how 3 ingredients from your kitchen pantry can turn into such beautiful pieces of artwork. You don't have to go out and buy the most expensive of everything. Creating something by hand and being homemade and handmade and hand created is a lot better than going out and buying something that's been mass produced over and over and over and over and over. Makes it personal. Personable gifts. We're just going to keep rotating this around. I really like the color of this. I like that gray. It's very pretty. Like I've mentioned before, these bowls take anywhere from 24 hours, 24, 36 hours. You can take the mold out of it. It's still a little bit pliable, not completely dry, which you'll want to do that because the longer that you leave that mold in there, the harder it's going to be to get it out. You're going to take a chance of your piece cracking. So you want to do it between 24 to 36 hours into the drying stage. And then you're going to let it want to, you're going to want to let it dry for at least a full 72 hours. And then of course, as the days go on and the water keeps evaporating out of it, the piece literally takes on even a better design. I guess if that's how you could say it. And the longer it sits, the darker it gets and the harder it gets. I'm not really sure if those little spiders that were on there are gonna actually come through on this piece or not, but that's okay because we've got spiders. We've got some plastic spiders that I just picked up at the dollar store. We're gonna place those on there and see how that looks when it dries. We're just gonna keep going and layering this until most of this paste is gone. Something on there. You'll want to keep rubbing this till everything is kind of meshed together. We've got about more. Good. That looks like it had some, okay. Let's try this one more time. Okay, so this looks like it's gonna be about the last piece that we're gonna put on here. You want to make sure that the paper towel is completely covered because there's spots that are still completely dry. I mean, they won't blend as well. It just doesn't. You just want to make sure that it's completely covered in your paste. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, all right, let's put this off to the side here. I'm gonna go ahead and take these gloves off because we're gonna take these little, there's a green one, green spider. We're gonna just cut that ring off. Ooh. Just like that. And we're gonna place them, let's do it over here so you guys can see this. We're gonna place them, let's see if this will work. Okay. Well, maybe we'll see if this will work. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this did not go as planned. I thought maybe we could, I wonder if we flatten those out a little more. Flatten them out. Flatten out the spiders. Maybe. Well, you know what we're gonna have to end up doing? I bet we're gonna have to hot glue those on there when this thing is dry. Okay. So we're gonna let this go ahead and dry for about 24 hours. We'll take it off of the mold and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so it's now been close to 48 hours since this Halloween candy bowl that we made is dry. I'm going to go ahead, since it's still pliable, and take it off of this mold before it gets too dry. I'm not going to be able to get it off of the mold. So we're just going to work away around here, bend the ends up and break this away a little bit. And we're going to peel this right out. I'm curious to know whether or not the spiders took on here. Guess we will see. Doesn't look like it did, but it still turned out so awesome. It's this deep gray. I put black in the flour paste, black paint. It's still got at least another day or so to dry, so we're just going to let that do that. One of the things that it did do is it did put the little webbing from this into the bottom of the bowl. I don't know, can you guys see that? But it did do that. Okay, so we're going to let that finish drying, and then we have some of these little plastic rings that we're going to put in the bowl, put on the bowl, put around the bowl, and we'll do that on the next video.